Most people have no idea how to actually get work done when they practice. They spend a lot of time doing something and they get better very slowly, or they don't get better at all. I'm a violin teacher, so my whole job is making sure that I teach people how to practice effectively so that their time is useful and they actually get something out of the practice that they're doing. And there's a lot of mistakes that people make that they just kind of waste their time and it's like they didn't even practice at all. So in this short video, I'm going to talk about 5 ways that you can be, or 5 things that you can be doing to improve your practice and make sure that your time is actually useful. You have to align your casual and competitive mindset. That's tip number 5. Here's the thing. Everybody gets nervous. They practice something 1,000 times, and then when it comes time to perform, whether it's an audition or a tournament or something, they choke. They make a mistake that they've never made before, and it's because of adrenaline. When you're performing casually, you don't have adrenaline in your system. You're just playing. And when you perform competitively, your mistakes and your actions matter. They have weight, and they can determine whether or not you win or lose, or you get a part or you lose a part, or you get a job, or anything like that. And when your mistakes have weight, you get nervous and you have adrenaline. You have to somehow practice the adrenaline at home. And the best thing that I've learned to do that is just to take practice seriously. Just look at your mistakes critically and don't let them slide. Even though they're still mistakes and you have room to improve, but you have to be critical at all times. You can't just say, I'm doing this because I'm practice, I don't care, I'm going to let loose, I'm going to just make these mistakes, I'm going to be sloppy. You have to be tight at all times. Even when you're just doing something strictly casually and you're just at home and no one's watching you, you have to act like everyone's watching you, because that's what you want. You want to be able to perform when people are watching you. You want to be able to perform when it matters. Anyone can do anything when nobody's looking. You have to be able to do it when it matters. Practice like it matters. Don't over-practice. Over-practice is totally a thing. If your nose is to the grindstone and you find yourself hating the thing that you're trying to get good at, it's okay to take a break. You want to do that. It's very hard to practice when you hate something. And if your practice repeatedly shows that you hate this thing, maybe you should do something else. If you can't find a love for the thing that you're doing, it's going to be really hard for you to get good at whatever you want. Practice as small as you can. Playing a whole 5-minute long concerto is very difficult. Getting it all with no mistakes, very difficult. Playing one measure in that whole concerto with no mistakes, much more manageable. Same thing with any other skill. If you're playing games, don't think about, I lost this game, I want to win this game. Think about individual mistakes that you can fix. Think about one thing that you can fix at a time. It's way easier to practice one thing at once than a whole thing. When you're practicing and you're saying, okay, I just want to win this game, I want to practice so I can win, really what you're saying is, I want to practice my timing, I want to practice my reactions, I want to practice how I think, I want to practice my mentality, I want to practice how I do this. That's too many things. Too many things. Just one thing at a time. Practice one thing at a time, as small as you can. Practice and play every day. Every single day. Seriously, the difference between players who play 5 times a week and the players who play 7 times a week is huge. And the difference between people who practice 4 or 5 days a week and the ones who practice every single day of the week is like more than 5 times that difference is. It's huge. It's monstrous. You would think that like 1 or 2 days won't make a huge difference, but it really is. A daily thing is what's going to make you great. You'll make progress if you do 4 or 5 days a week. You won't make good progress that feels good unless it's really every day. Now, the thing is, you don't have to do it for hours and hours and hours every day. The trick is consistency. You have to do it every day. What you want, a good rule of thumb of a minimum, is your age in minutes. If you're 30 years old, you should practice about 30 minutes a day, and you'll make a good, reasonable progress as long as you do it every day. I have had hundreds of students at this point, and I can tell you that the ones who practice every single day, they are far and away so much better than the kids that practice 5 times a week. It's just, you have to do it. You must. You don't want to kill yourself, but if you really want good progress, you can't make excuses. You have to find time to practice and play every day. Tip number 1 to make your practice matter is immersion. Do me a favor. Think of a difficult language. Doesn't matter what it is. English, Chinese, Japanese, whatever, it doesn't matter. Realize that people study languages for years and they don't remember a word. I've I studied briefly in Japan, and I talked to lots and lots of Japanese people who studied English for like 8+ years, and they sounded like they just started in their first semester. How many people do you know in high school who took Spanish for years and they can't speak any Spanish at all? The reason they couldn't do it is because they didn't have the immersion. Now, think back to those same languages and realize that there are 4- and 5-year-olds who are fluent in those languages, and they're not smarter than adults are. Then there's not like magic that people always reference that kids learn music and learn languages faster than everybody else. It's easier because they're immersed all the time and they pay attention way more than you think that they do. So here's the deal. When you're born and you learned English or whatever language you speak, your mother or father spoke to you like that constantly. You were surrounded with the language all the time. Your mother and father spoke to you. You heard them have conversations among themselves. You heard the radio. You heard the TV. There were words everywhere. You cannot escape language. It is around you constantly. It's the number one thing that everyone is pretty good at consistently, at least understanding. There are people who speak poorly, and there's degrees. But there's lots and lots and lots of fluent people, and learning and understanding language is one of the most difficult things to do. But people do it all the time when they're like 5 years old, because they're constantly surrounded by it. One is that takes into the tip of, do things every day, because, of course. But it's about that it's something going on when you're not even necessarily devoting your attention to it. It's still around you. So if you want to perform music and you want to do very well with the skill, just listen to music all the time. You don't have to always sit in a room with dark headphones and just do nothing but listen to it. But there's no reason not to have music on. If you want to play a game seriously, if you don't feel like playing, watch someone play. Talk about the game that you want to be good at. Just do whatever you want. You have to have a world of things around you to be an expert in whatever you want to be an expert in. If you want to be an expert in writing, not only do you write, but you read, you talk about books, you go to book clubs, you write books, you talk about things around them. It doesn't matter what it is. Anything at all, immersion is the thing that really puts people a cut above. So go try and do those 5 things and see if your practice improves. If it does, let me know. If it doesn't, let me know. Drop me a comment. I like to see if my stuff is actually helping people or not. If you liked the video, please like, comment, subscribe. I have all that stuff in the description. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter, on YouTube, all that junk. If you have any other video ideas or any feedback at all, I would love to hear it. Go do something fun.